folks, welcome back to the CODEX Station Reviews. Today we're going to be going over the X-Men 97 cartoon, which is out now on Disney+. I am Sal, the Slab Guy, your host. With me as always, well, at least for tonight, is Sonny Kruger, actor, director, writer, and also the host of the CODEX podcast. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm very happy. Waited many years, and now X-Men '97 has come out, and we
Yes,
definitely watched it, man.
yeah. Have
Three,
watched it a few times, actually.
same here.
Hmm, hmm.
3:04 in the morning. I was on that. I was on the
Ooh,
TV watching it, so I wanted to beat
wow.
everybody to it.
Nice, nice. Okay, so folks, today I think we're gonna give an overall review of like the animation. We're gonna give a review of the like story. We're gonna give a little review on how it compares to the last cartoon series of the X Men that came out in the '90s, and then we're gonna give you an overall view of the two episodes in general. So that's how we're gonna work it today. So let's go ahead and start off with the animation. Why don't you go first on this one, Sonny? Tell me, what did you think of the animation?
Obviously, it has to be a little bit different from the '90s one, right? And
Hmm.
at first, like everyone was kind of like iffy. How's it gonna be? Many were wondering about Rogue. Not too many were happy about that, but I get
Uh,
we're
there was
living in.
something. There was something missing, wasn't there?
But let's get on to, the positive side. I get that it's a different day and age, but I actually liked it. I liked how it was. It was different from many of the other cartoons that are out now. I mean, it's not like I'm
Hmm.
really that up to date, but I liked it. I thought it was good for now. I thought the characters they look like how they look in the comics. I thought it was like I really liked the action scenes. Definitely, I was wondering
Hmm.
how it was gonna be. How are they gonna be when they're in the middle of the action scenes fighting? But I thought it was terrific all around. I really enjoyed it. I thought the animation looked great to me. So I'm satisfied with how it is, even to comparing to the
Hmm.
original. I like it. I like the
Okay.
original, or I like both. The original, I like it for its
Hmm.
time, and then I like now how it is for X-Men '97. A little bit different, but still reminds me of the original. How about you?
Okay. I'm gonna agree with you, but there were a couple of points that I didn't like about this animation, and I'll get into a little bit of details on it. One, I think the action sequences, while good, were a little bit too fast. Um, the Cyclops fight scenes in the beginning, where he was wailing on the Friends of Humanity people, uh, awesome, but a little bit too fast. It was like, hup, 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 like and then moving around. Um, there was a couple of scenes with Wolverine and where Gambit's riding on his back. You kind of see that in a little preview, and that whole sequence there kind of moved kind of fast because of what actually transpired. So a little bit slower in the animation would have been fine for me, but it didn't really detract me from the story or the action. I still loved it. Now, the different part of the animation, some of the characters with the very close ups where you could see their eyes that looked like their eyeballs, it looked like you could see skin like right inside here. Okay. That kind of annoyed me. Some of the characters had it, some of the characters did not. And it's not like an age thing or a ethnicity type situation. It was just the way they were drawn. And it's only like two or three characters had that, and it kind of like every time I saw that close up, I was like, oh, I don't need to see the inside of your eye, I don't, just you know. But digressing on that, I think overall the animation was better than the original X Men '97 or X Men series in '90s, but I didn't mind that animation either. So they did a good job of continuing it, that animation feel, that the way they had it in the original to where they did it to this one, they kind of continued that same um, presence or that same way it was drawn to the to make it like almost it was sequeling the first one. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't
Yeah.
so different that you were like, oh my god, this is completely different. It doesn't look like anything like the first one. No, they made it very similar to the first set series and just kind of made a little bit of changes to it to make it like you said a newer update
Yeah, and
type
one thing
situation.
too, speaking like the animation at the end, because I watched X Men the original right before
Hmm.
I went through every episode before watching this.
Right.
That last season when
So,
they really changed the animation, Henry
yeah.
Gyrick looked completely different in the last episode, and then with X-Men '97, they had him looking back the way he originally looked throughout most of the
Correct.
show. So, like,
Correct.
I like that they did that. And at one
Right.
part, when you were mentioning eyes,
Yeah.
I noticed Cyclops, even through his visor, you could see his eyes even moving a little bit. That's the first
Right.
time I noticed that. Yeah,
Yep. That's
and I
pretty
did like
cool.
the nightclub scene. I liked some of the way they were dancing, the way everyone was kind of. I thought it was pretty cool animation. I did like that.
Right. Yeah. That was actually very fitting. I think the for the scene itself, it was good because you didn't want to see um, too much of the background characters, but you wanted to know they were there and what was happening. But your focus was still on the X team and what was going on, and that was very done very well. I think.
Yeah, I did. I like that.
Okay, so let's go ahead and jump to the story. So we have the first episode was called "To Me My X Men." Second one was called "Mutant Liberation," I believe.
Yep, Mutant
You want me to
Liberation
go ahead and get?
begins.
Yeah, yep, begins. Do you want me to go ahead and give you my feeling on these first, and I'll let you
Sure,
jump on the next one?
sure.
Um, all right. So yes, the story I think was really good. To me, my X Men was awesome. I mean, the whole this trailer has been out now, so you've probably seen this probably in the trailer if you haven't watched these two episodes with them falling out of the plane and then Cyclops landing the way he does, and he's like, "Good work, team. See you on the ground." That type of thing, and then then he lands on the ground and he's like, "To me, my X Men," and everybody just kind of jumps into the scene, plops right in there. Epic, epic. If there was a comic book like that, I would slap it and have it on the wall. Oh wait, look at that! I kind of do with
I was gonna say, I see
the
it. Yeah,
connected covers.
I see them multiple. Yeah,
Yes, yes, indeed. So I like that. And if you haven't watched these two episodes, what I'm going to point out to you or tell you right now is very important. Watch the opening credits carefully,
to both. Yeah,
to both of them, especially in the second episode, because they're revealing small little hints of what's coming down the line. Okay, what's going to happen with the series, or what stories they're going to cover. So, the second one's called Mutant Liberation Begins. Is that what it was called?
yep.
If I remember right. Yep, you're right. Okay, so yeah, thought that was awesome. I thought that kind of really followed the comic book story pretty damn close as from what I can remember, and the costumes were in fact spot on, especially for Magneto and his purpley costume with the 3/4 sleeves type of situation. So
You mean this one right
there we
here?
go. Issue number 200, which
Yeah.
folks is probably skyrocketing in price. So if you can find it cheap, pick it up now because it's only going to go up because of this show.
Oh yeah. When I
So,
saw it, I was like,
uh-huh.
"This is going up in value."
Yep, definitely, definitely. All right, Sonny, tell me what you thought.
Yes, like I said. So yeah, to me, my X Men, I thought it was a perfect way to pick up the series because
Hmm.
they were all wondering how's it going to be, how's the story going to be, is it going to be have the same serious tones as the original, or is it going to be like too much of just just be silly and childish? And I really liked how it stayed true to X Men. It stayed true. It seemed like it did pick up, did pick up right off with the last one. It's supposed to be, I believe, like around a year after or something like that.
Sounds right.
And yeah, I thought it was a great story to get everyone started. And I said, yeah, picking up things and the characters. I liked how they seem like, okay, yeah, it seems like this is who they are. Obviously, like I say, Bishop now being on the team, it makes me wonder, okay, somewhere in the future, they're going to have to show how is Bishop here? How is Bishop stuck in the
Watch
now
this
and
beginning credits, people.
in 97? Yeah. So I like that. I like the everything going on with the characters, with the romances, even the still the rivalry with Wolverine and Cyclops. We have Jean is now pregnant. I
Right.
wonder what her baby's gonna turn out to be. He has some potential.
Hmm.
He's got some potential.
That's true.
But yeah, everything too in the Friends of Humanity. I thought it was a good way to get the show going again. Is to bring in the Friends of Humanity as the villains because everyone's jumping back. Either you're jumping back into the story like us, or so there's gonna be new fans who haven't even watched the old one who just jump into this. I think the Friends of
Hmm.
Humanity was good. They were good villains to have in the beginning. It was good to introduce Sunspot to the team. Kind of reminded me how
Hmm.
Jubilee came in the original series. They're new. They're
Yep.
like, "What is this?" They're young, and then
Come on.
so I thought the first one was a great one, great story. It really got things going for me, and
Mhm.
I felt very satisfied. Constantly wondering how it's going to be. Is it going to live up? And I thought, with the story was, wow, yeah, it definitely lived up to it. And then the next one, Mutant Liberation Begins, really focused. We saw, like I said, a lot more of Magneto. We see he's got the new outfit.
Hmm.
Like you said,
The
pretty
giant
much a,
M.
a lot like, issue 200. But obviously, certain things have to be changed. But I thought that one was great too. And we saw more of the Mutant Liberation front. We even got to see Executioner, and yeah, the X-Men Annual 17 may be going up in value as well with his
Yep.
first appearance. But one thing with the Friends of Humanity is they were always bad, right? They're always nasty, but they didn't have too much of a tough villain. They were kind of like either they teamed up on you, or they got wiped out pretty fast. But now they have a dangerous villain who can stand up to the X-Men. He could fight many of them on his own, but he also has
Right.
many people with them. And it seemed realistic. It didn't seem, like I said, too much trying to get for kids, but even certain things he was saying, like the Cyclops, "Oh, you people, you're always whining." He seemed like a real villain, like a real life villain, and I liked that they did it. That it seemed like, oh, this is somebody who could almost be you could run into any day down the street, and
Hmm.
I love that story wise that they stayed true to the characters. They seem like each other. Like Magneto did seem like Magneto, how he's always, he's for his mutants, but he also has his good side, especially as much as him and Xavier may have butted heads in ways they loved each other as friends.
Right.
They always, and respected each other.
Right.
So that was good. And
Hmm.
another thing with the story, Morph, a lot of people were wondering how's Morph gonna be, but
I was going
I
to bring
thought
that
Morph
up.
was
Okay.
I
Yeah.
thought Morph was terrific, and I really liked Morph. And the thing is that, well, maybe I should have mentioned this with the animation, but Morph brings so much. He brings so much to the character of Morph brings so much to the show,
Hmm.
and so many cool cameo looking appearances, turning it into Archangel, turning into Psylocke. When I saw Lady Deathstrike, I was like, "What?" And
Yeah.
then, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Morph can turn into anybody. So
Right.
I really liked seeing that too. And then each one is ending where you want to know what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next?
Hmm.
And now I'm like that. We only got a little bit more time, and then we can get on to the next episode. So story wise, for both episodes, I absolutely loved them both.
Very good. Very good. I agree with you, and I also agree with you about Morph. He does look a little different than what he did from the original X Men series. Well, I'm going to say cartoon series now. He does look a little different, but he was not. I found the original Morph a little bit annoying when he wasn't being evil in the first one. You know how he was evil in the first one, and kind of came back at the end. So we're past that now, and he's on the good. He's on the good side now, but he looks different, which is fine, and he's not as annoying. But he is true to himself character of trying to uh, be, get Wolverine to come out of his shell.
Yeah.
He's always like the team, almost jokester, but not like annoying at it type of situation. So I did like all the cameos that he did. Like you said, Psylocke. He did Blob. He did a
Yeah.
lot of different ones. Deathstrike. It
The
was pretty
original
wicked.
Colossus look,
And they did. Yep, they
with
did the
with the
original
red.
Colossus work.
Yeah.
Up, segue. We did a comic character a week. We did Colossus, so we should be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, check
So
that out if you want to hear about some great Colossus stories, which there are many of.
yes, many great covers too.
Oh yeah.
So definitely check that out. Yep, and so yeah, definitely, and I agree with that. I love both episodes like that. So let's jump a little bit here. We want to list the cast members because I feel this is pretty good. I think they did. I think they got most of the original cast back with one or two differences. And I think Cyclops being one of the differences that was different. But I'll just read off here from what I can Google here really quick. It looks like Cathal Dodd was Wolverine. Ray
The
Chase
original. Yep.
was Cyclops. Jennifer Hale was Jean Grey. George Buzo was Beast. Matthew Watterson was Magneto. By the way, I think he did a good job with Magneto. Uh, Lenora Zane was Rogue. Holly Cho was Jubilation or Jubilee. I'm gonna mispronounce this one, but Gui Agustini
Oh
was
yeah.
Sunspot.
I believe it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think it's G. I think it's GUI is his first name. And being a tech guy, I say GUI, but that's not right. We'll have to look that offline and correct it later.
Yeah.
But we
Add
have
it. W
yeah,
voice. Yeah.
dub the voice out. No, we'll figure it out later. We'll throw it up as a little blur. Maybe Tim will help us out on the editing part there. Allison Seeley Smith was Storm, who was excellent. JP Carlick was Kevin Sidney. What is that? Who is that? Kevin Sidney.
Maybe a character that hasn't, because I think a few are
Hey,
showing up that haven't been in the show yet.
probably true. That is true. Oh, yep, they do. Ooh, we're not going to mention this one then because that's a person they haven't shown, and that's a person they haven't shown. But we have AJ Lacasco was Gambit, and we have Isaac Robinson Smith as Bishop, who was again perfect with demeanor and voice and everything. Looks, sounds like the original one from the original X Men
I
series.
do miss the mullet though. That's
It's
I
not the
miss the
'90s
mullet.
anymore. It's not the '90s anymore. Man, come on. All right, so we've talked a little bit about the animation. We talked a little bit about the stories. We're now diving into the cast. Do you think this was a good casting call for this new series?
I think it is terrific. And like you said, a lot were the originals, like Kel Dodd is Wolverine.
Yep.
His voice sounds a little bit different, but it's gonna happen over,
Hmm.
over 30 years. Your voice may change a bit, especially when you're doing like
True.
a rusty voice, bub. Your
Yep.
voice may take some damage. So it was
Yep.
nice to see him though as Wolverine. Ray Chase as Cyclops sounds like the original actor,
He does.
Norm, who did the
Hmm.
voice. And so I thought that was terrific. I think that was one of the most things I was happy with. Like, wow, they have someone sounds just like Cyclops in the original.
Hmm. Hmm.
Beast is the original, Rogue is the original, and then like I said, other actors, sometimes different, but they sound the same. Like you were saying, Storm,
Hmm.
original actress, and yeah, she
Yep.
did terrific as well. Magneto's original voice actor
Hmm.
passed away, so that's
Yep.
why the voice has changed. Then the first one, I was like, I'm not so sure if I'm gonna be okay with it. But the second episode really gave a lot more focus on Magneto, and then
Hmm.
completely won me over with that. I'm like, yeah, this is the new
Yep.
voice of Magneto, and I'm good with it.
Right.
And I
Oh,
am excited to see more characters too.
I am too. By the way, what Magneto does with the helicopters, badass moments. Be on the lookout for that. Is really cool. Not going to spoil it here, but when you're checking out the second episode, watch what he does with the helicopters. It's just absolutely amazing.
I
So,
was a bit more excited with close to the end with the maybe I'll say climax, but yeah,
yeah. Oh,
mainly yeah,
yeah. They definitely leave you on a cliffhanger for this second episode. They
yeah.
definitely leave you on that cliffhanger. I'm not going to say it. You got to watch it for yourself. I only wish they only had previews for the following week or something like that, but they don't have that
I
yet.
was thinking that too. Yeah,
Yeah, but they don't have that. They don't
we're
have that.
almost there, Sal.
That's why I'm saying watch the opening credits because they hint at a lot of stuff in the opening credits, and it's a quick half-second, thing that you see. So when you're looking at that, you'll see. I bet you we're going to see stories with those characters down the road, 100%.
Yeah, and they said they changed from each episode a little bit. The second was a little bit different, a
Right?
little more, and I like that they're doing snippets of the past of certain
Mm-hmm.
old episodes from the original. I like seeing that too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, maybe certain hints towards episodes of the future. So I like it,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Maybe
we haven't even mentioned the opening credits. That was awesome to have. I mean, obviously the music's changed a little bit, but it's basically the same thing. So
right, right,
I was super
right.
happy with that.
I was very happy with those too. All
Yeah,
right,
the
so let's go
music.
ahead and do what's that?
I was just saying, yeah, like the music, how it was so close to the original, and then throughout the
It's this.
episode,
Yep.
that was one thing I was really wondering was how are they gonna
Mm,
do the music because the original show had like they would really get dramatic with music, but sometimes they could do a lot of other things. But really, the dramatic music always stood out for me with the original show. And when I was rewatching them all, I thought, I hope the new one does it. I hope that they do it, and they did. They had a great background soundtrack. So
mm,
to me, that was
very
good.
good. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree with that. So let's go ahead and let's give a rating for our three sections, and then one at the end for overall. And then I'll ask you a surprise question, which I haven't talked to you about earlier at the end. Okay.
Okay,
So
complete surprise.
complete surprise. So animation. What would you give it out of 10? 1 to 10.
For me, I'm going with I'm going with a 10 because I love the way it is. I think this is the way it should be. I love how, like I said, the original has always been my favorite, but I get that
Mhm.
it has to change now, and I think this is the perfect way for it to be for the now, and I wouldn't change it. I love the way it
Okay.
is.
I'm actually gonna give it a 9.8 because of the some of that the way they were drawn with the eyes. It really distracted me from the character on those points. That's what I didn't like. I know
Guys,
I don't need to see I don't need to see like the inside of your eyeball. It's okay. But
you said you want to
overall,
see it, Sal?
I did not want to see it. Stop. Make it stop, please. Um, I said overall, I still liked it. I still enjoyed it, but I'm going to give it a 9.8.
Okay,
All right.
so
Our
awesome.
next segment is the stories itself, the 2 episodes. What would you give the 2 episodes?
For me, as a writer, story always means a lot to me.
Let me
And I
guess.
was super happy, super satisfied. You already know, I think everybody kind of knows that the stories for both episodes that made me super happy that to me, my X-Men and Mutant Liberation Begins, for me, I gave both episodes the big 10 out of 10.
I'm going to have to agree with you on this one and give it a 10 myself for both episodes because it was just, whoop, there was someone at my front door. Look at that.
Everyone's getting excited. Everyone's giving tens
Every
all around. Another
she thought
10.
that the episode was on now and she had to go check it
She was
out.
giving that 10. She said, I also give
Yep.
a 10 out of 10.
Yep. So, all right. So the next thing is the cast members or the casting call for what we have here, and I could probably already tell you're going to probably give it a good rating for this. How do you rate the casting call for these episodes?
You already know what other show can go that many years and bring
Man,
back so many of the cast, and then the ones that aren't able to come back, bring it back, and we have other great casting as well for the voice actors and actresses.
hmm
I'm going with a 10 out of 10 for that
oh, I
one.
know. I get, but
So
then
what
I
do
guess
you
I
give
already
it?
know your overall rating. Yes, I'm going to have to agree with you 100% on this one and give that a 10 as well because, like you said, bringing back the old cast members as much as they could possibly do, and what replacements they have done are excellent. I feel like those characters 100%. There's no, oh, he doesn't sound right. There was no question in my mind. Magneto was Magneto. Cyclops was Cyclops. There was no question in my mind about that. So 10 out of 10 on that. And now for the final rating, which I know you're going to give.
Do you think we're in agreement here?
I think we're going to be in agreement on this one as well.
Okay. Then maybe we'll give a
What?
countdown.
3, 2, 1. Bam!
10 for both episodes of X-Men
Yes.
97. To me, my X-Men and Mutant Liberation begins.
Most definitely. I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10. It's a must watch series. Not only is it a must watch series, but it's going to be a series I will rewatch in the future over and over again, without a doubt.
Same here.
Without a doubt.
And I gotta say that I think that this series it's setting a new bar for
Mhm.
animated series, for X-Men just in general. I think
Yep.
this is what X-Men. This is one of the biggest things that happened to X-Men of this century. I'd say the biggest thing of this century. X-Men is going to have a huge jump up now. It's going to have a whole
hmm
new legion of fans. This is what X-Men needed, and also that they have already have. I love seeing that there's so many positive reviews about it. So many people are so happy about it.
Right.
They've already been working on season 2 already, and with
Mm.
this, it's gonna be going further, and then, like I said, we got even new comic books ready for the summer of X-Men. It's a whole this is a new era of X-Men has begun.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, for my surprise question, I'm going to ask you:
Ooh.
what stories do you want to see coming up in this season, or maybe even the second season?
Okay,
Give me there
since
like give me like three. Give me like three.
okay, predictions, I think we're gonna see Life Death pretty soon. I don't wanna give
Yes.
too much away as to why in case you haven't seen
hmm
that, but that's a
Right.
prediction. I think we're gonna see that. I would like to see Days of Future Present, the
Mm,
sequel to Days of Future Past, the one that
mm,
has Ahab is the villain. I would like to see. I think that those would be very cool episodes.
mhm.
And one story that I absolutely loved, and I really am hoping I would love to see them do, like maybe even a 4-part series. It would have to be big. Is Executioner's Song. The
Yes.
character Strife has been a villain I've always been a fan of, and he doesn't get much praise. Not many people know him.
hmm
That story gives him and Cable a lot of the spotlight. I would love to see Executioner's Song.
Okay.
And how
Very good.
about you? What are you hoping to see?
Well, you know, I'm always a fan of the Dark Phoenix saga, so I'm gonna say I hope to see a good rendition of that if they go through that. But being how they had that spoiler or that cliffhanger at the end of episode 2, I'm gonna hope for like an Inferno type of
Oh,
storyline. You know,
That would be good.
that would be good. But we're gonna have there's gonna be a lot more characters introduced. So I'm thinking maybe that's a down the road type of story. Maybe season two, maybe season three, if it actually, starts to pan out like that.
Yeah, there'd
But
be another one that would need multiple episodes to do Inferno.
yep, and of course, Executioner Song was the other one I was thinking of as well.
Nice. Oh, any ideas? Like I said, so since the original did have Dark Phoenix Saga in the original,
Hmm.
any
Hmm.
ideas of what you think they would should do to kind of like bring back and do another kind of Phoenix story?
How do you mean? Like you want to redo the one that they did, or like a different Phoenix story altogether?
Well, yeah, like what would you like? Since the original did have the
Hmm.
original Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga, would you like to
Right.
see like a similar story or a completely new one or any other Phoenix stories?
Well, I would like to see. I would like to see like the original Phoenix story, from beginning to end. And the first X Men series, I think, didn't give it too much justice. I think they kind of flew through that too fast. They could have made that I know it was like a 5-part episode, but there was just so much in that storyline. I think they just kind of they glazed over or they kind of omitted out completely. So I would like to see a much more expanded version of the Phoenix Saga.
Oh, wow. So we will
Okay.
see what happens. Because for me, I always thought that they did the best out of the of any kind of
Oh,
iteration. I always felt that it
100%
was the
agree with.
best.
Yep, 100% agree with you on that. Live action, no matter what, hands down, the first X Men series handled the Dark Phoenix Saga better than anything else. Absolutely agree with
So we will see. Quickly speaking of like Dark Phoenix Saga, that goes into the Hellfire Club, the inner circle of them.
you. Hmm.
Yeah, I caught it more in the trailer, and then it happened very quickly where you're seeing like a paper fly by, but in the trailer showed it slower. And if you were paused, you see it says like Hellfire Gala. So I wouldn't
Hmm.
be surprised if we see the Hellfire Gala. That's a more the newer story, and but it
Right.
does deal with the Hellfire Club. So
Nice.
so
That's
much
awesome.
could happen. So many ideas.
So many ideas. I hope they bring them to life. I really do.
Yeah. So hey, look at that. And we both said Executioner song. I think many want to see
Hmm.
that story. So
Absolutely,
something to
it
be
was a great.
excited
It was a
for.
great. It was a great story to begin with. Because what, Executioner Song really opens up a lot of the other X uh, teams as well. So
Yeah.
as they expand their universe and having more of these characters come in, who's to say we wouldn't see an X Force type of cartoon spinoff, you know, Excalibur or anything like that come into play,
Yeah, New Mutants. It would be like I said, they
or
could
New
do so
Mutants.
much. Yeah, with this,
Yep,
especially with the popularity it's getting, with the positive reviews. Right now, X-Men 97 is still at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
nice.
maybe
I
with
have
all of
not.
that good
Yeah.
positivity, maybe there will be those spin-offs, like you said.
Maybe. I'm not a fan of Rotten Tomatoes because I try to avoid it, but that's amazing that it's getting 100% from them.
Yeah, I like it when it agrees with a show I like. Then I'll mention it, you know. When a X-Men 97 getting 100%, then I'll mention, hey, it even has 100% on Rotten
100%.
Tomatoes.
I have to agree with you then. Okay, very good.
Everyone's at 10 out of 10s, hundreds out of hundreds. X-Men 97. If you haven't checked it out, check it out.
Definitely. It is on Disney Plus. New episodes come out on Wednesday morning at 3 a.m.
I'll be there. I'll be ready watching it 3 a.m.
Well, I'll watch it in the morning, but not at 3 a.m. So,
I will not send you any spoilers.
okay. Very good. Very good. All right. I think this wraps up our review. Thank you, Sonny, for joining me on this. I am your host, Sal the Slab Guy. Sonny Kruger is your man, the actor, the director, the host of the comic book. Except,
A host
I
of the
can't say
Code
that
X
yet. Host of the
podcast.
CODEX podcast. Why can't I say that? That's crazy to me. Host of the podcast. See, I can't even say it again.
Leave this
Host of
in
the
there.
CODEX podcast. There we go. Thank
There
you,
you
ladies
go.
and gentlemen. Catch us next week when we do the episode review for episode 3.